YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking a little caution, okay? This is not me telling you should not draft these guys. This is not me telling you these guys are going to bust, but there needs to be a little caution. You need to know the range of outcomes of these players. You need to limit your risk. I would not suggest drafting all of these players on one team. So, listen, this is why we're here, right? We're here to win fantasy football championships. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the video.
Kyren Wilson, wow! What a catch! Touchdown, Jets! That kid's amazing. He's given time. He wants Jefferson. Climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness! Loading. He's going to heave one for the front right. Palmer drops it in.
All right, let's just jump right into this, guys. Again, this is not me telling you these people are going to be busts, but I am scared. I am definitely scared, and one of the guys that does scare me in the middle of the second round is Kyren Williams. Now, let's not overlook this a little bit. His 2023 season, even though it was injury riddled, he had an amazing season. My biggest concern with Kyren isn't just the added competition with Blake Corum, although I do think that should be part of the conversation. I think Corum isn't just a nobody. Hell, he is more of a somebody than Kyren Williams was coming out of college. So that isn't my base argument, though. My argument is that he is a injury risk. He had a crazy season, like I said, but he's playing the most physically demanding position. Him being a small framed back also doesn't really help his case. And secondly, I think draft capital needs to play a huge part in this. I know Kyren will be the starter come week 1. He balled out in 2023. He deserves the chance to be an NFL caliber starting running back. However, if it does not pan out, the Rams really didn't invest a whole lot in Kyren Williams. This is not a Bijan Robinson situation where they unloaded a first-round pick and he needs to be the guy because they invested so much in him. This is not a Jahmyr Gibbs where Detroit moves up and grabs their guy because they think it's going to be a huge part of their offense. Kyren was just a guy who ended up just panning out in 2023. Him coming out of college, he was not only small, he was slow. He ran a 4.6. I mean, that's really slow for a running back. He had a magical year, and I'm scared he's not going to be able to replicate it in 2024. He was also an injury risk coming out of college. His biggest knock, and you guessed it, will he survive at the NFL level being a small framed running back? And as magical as 2023 was, the answer to that was obviously no. He didn't play a full season. He was banged up a little bit, but when he was on the field, he did magical things. So I'm not putting my chips on Kyren. He's probably the last running back I take in round 2. I'm really trying to stay away from him altogether, but it's really hard because after round 2, there is like a tier break in running backs, but he is the last person I'm willing to draft when it comes to running backs in round 2. I would take ETN over him. I would take, obviously, Jonathan Taylor over him, just to name a few. Even Saquon Barkley, of course, over him. But, yeah, Kyren Williams, he scares the absolute crap out of me. I think you should really, if you're going to draft him, at least handcuff Blake Corum in the end of your drafts. But yeah, be cautious because he's scary. Next guy on our board, we're going to be talking about a quarterback, a mobile quarterback. You guessed it, the Colts starting quarterback, Anthony Richardson. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't get it. I really don't. He's being drafted as the QB6 currently. This is a guy that played, I don't know, a handful of games. I really don't know if you want to call it 2 full starts. He was injured twice last season. One injury costing him the entirety of his season. He didn't start much games in college. I believe his record at Florida was 6-7. He didn't even finish above 500 in college. He's not a premier passer. He's had a miserable completion percentage in college. Anthony Richardson really has shown us 2 NFL games, and although I will say they were pretty good, it's such a small sample size from what we saw. His rookie year, he was being drafted as the QB 16, which that makes sense. He's a rookie. He's he's not polished. He's coming out of college. He's being drafted as the QB 6 for what reason? What did we see that he's drafted that highly? Listen, I'm not oblivious. I do see the upside here. He has rushing ability. He could flirt with 10 touchdowns, but I'm sorry. There's way too much risk here. Why am I drafting a guy like Anthony Richardson at QB6, which, by the way, that's a middle of like the 5th round, when I can draft a guys like a Love, a Kyler Murray, a Dak, a Jaden Daniels, which, mind you, has the same rushing ability as Anthony Richardson, if not more. I think he's a way more prolific passer than him. He has the Heisman Trophy. He's been at LSU. He's got a dozen more starts under his belt than Anthony Richardson does. So why am I drafting him so early? Because he's shown me absolutely nothing. Not at the college level, not at the pro level. I'm sorry. I'm staying away from Anthony Richardson. I won't touch him with a 10-foot pole. I don't care how far he drops in drafts. I can get the same caliber player in a Kyler Murray and a Jaden Daniels 3 rounds later. So, for that reason alone, I am 100% out on Anthony Richardson. Does he have QB1 overall upside? Sure. But I'm not putting all my chips in that. You know who has QB1 upside as well? Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Jaden Daniels. So, sorry, Anthony Richardson. Maybe you're going to make me bite my bullets. Guys, huge caution here. Go draft somebody else 3-4 rounds later. There's no point. There really isn't. There's no point whatsoever. And the third guy on my list that we're going to be talking about, Brandon Aiyuk. Now, look, this has gone way too long. This has been going on too long. The Brandon Aiyuk saga. Will he sign with the 49ers? Will he be traded somewhere else? It's been like 2 or 3 months of this nonsense. I like Brandon Aiyuk, the player. I don't like Brandon Aiyuk, the person. His future remains up in the air right now. We are 9 days away from playing meaningful football. There is still a possibility that this guy gets traded. If you draft this guy in the middle of the 2nd round or at the end of the 2nd round, now his ADP is dropping a little bit. Maybe people are wisening up. If you draft him as a 2nd or a 3rd round player and he gets traded, I don't know, let's just say to the Steelers or the Browns or wherever he goes, he needs to learn a whole new offense from scratch. He needs to build a rapport with the quarterback. And who knows, this might be a crappy situation if he gets traded. I mean, I think right now, at this point in time, it's probably more likely he remains a 49er. But anything can happen, right? So the possibility is still up in the air that he can get traded. Now, that's too much of a risk already for me to be drafting a guy in the middle of the 2nd round. It really just leaves no room for error. Then you got to throw on top of that, right? He had an amazing, a great, efficient 2023 season. Hell, he looked like one of the best wide receivers in football. I can understand why the guy wants to be paid, but he wants to be paid. New England offers him $30 million plus. He doesn't want to go to New England. Well, Mr. Aiyuk, you can't have it both ways, my friend. Sometimes it doesn't always line up that you're going to be on a Super Bowl contending team and you're also going to be paid as well. So Aiyuk can't really make up his mind what he wants to do. It's kind of making me nerve-wracking. He caught over 70% of his balls last year, all of his targets. That was a crazy amount. That was well over his average for his career. I believe that was more of an outlier year. when it comes to catch rate. So I think those numbers are definitely going to regress. There's going to be a little bit of regression when it comes fantasy-wise. I think we're drafting him way closer to his ceiling than his floor. I'd rather take a Cooper Kupp, a Nico Collins in the same range. And yeah, I mean, right now this is the guy that hasn't practiced all off-season. We haven't seen Aiyuk dress up for the 49ers. We haven't seen nothing of Aiyuk. We're 9 days away from meaningful football, so I don't even know where he's going to go. I'm not taking this risk. Go draft somebody else. Skip over Aiyuk. It looks like that's already happening because his ADP is slowly starting to drop. But yeah, let's bail on the Aiyuk saga. There's no way we're doing this, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up this video. I appreciate you if you stuck around all the way to the end. Do me a favor, if you like fantasy football, like, comment, subscribe, leave something down in the comments. Who are the guys that you're scared about drafting? Let me know. Let's have a conversation about it. And subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. We're trying to do good things around here. We're trying to get you guys some fantasy football championships. So, yep, do me a favor. Just hit that like button, subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.